Hi everybody, Lambkin here. So patch 105 rolled out yesterday and it came with a pretty significant nerf to Law's 1+2, which also indirectly nerfed his slide Oki, of course, as we all know. This situation we got going on here. And I've seen a lot of people have been quite negative about this change and have been dooming and glooming about it, not knowing really what to make of it and stuff. And there's been some, what would you say? Like a lot of people are lost right now on what to do with slide and slide Oki and all that kind of stuff. So today I'm gonna show you how I have been using slides in this new patch so far and how I suggest that you should be using slides going onward. And then I'm gonna rant a little bit afterwards about what I think of this change and how it affects Law as a whole. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright, so as many of you know, Law's slide Oki situation still remains when he is in heat. And this is how it looks like, and this is what it used to look like in patch 104, even when he wasn't in heat. The fact that you could just mindlessly loop people over and over again with the slide Oki. It would look something like this. And then you reset the situation. Every time, whenever they stay on the ground, you just flip them over, and if they stand up, you can go over and apply a grab mix-up or DSS mix-up and something like that. Quite brain-dead offense, which, as I just said, still is in the game. You still have it available when you're in heat. It's very strong. It does consume, the Nunchaku does consume a lot of heat, but it is an option that you have in heat if you are so inclined to want to do that, right? And the thing is that they nerf the Oki situation when he is not in heat anymore, flipping the opponent over in a different animation here, knocking them further away so that they can stand up in time to block your follow-up nunchuck. You cannot just mindlessly run up to them and do a nunchuck again. And from this position, it's very hard to go in with another slide, although not impossible depending on how they wake up. So what does it mean? What does it mean for his slide game now? Well, what I've been doing when I played a bunch yesterday. I played a lot on live stream as well. If you saw that, you probably seen me have great success with this use of a slide right here that I'm about to show you. And basically, if you don't know already, if you haven't played Tekken 7, this is how you used slides in Tekken 7. Basically, this has become the way you use slides again in Tekken 8. In my opinion, this is the best way to use slide. So, first of all, you still get, of course, guaranteed nunchuck if you're fast enough. Turn around, nunchuck them. Guaranteed 16 damage on the ground. And it's way better than what you had in Tekken 7, mind you. Where the only thing you got guaranteed after a slide, you would wake up backwards on the ground like this, and it would do... see, it does 8 damage here, but they would be grounded, so it would scale at 80%. So all you got really was guaranteed 6 damage. So you get 10 more guaranteed damage here with the slide into nunchuck, 16, which is also incredibly good. It's still a big buff from Tekken 7, even though it doesn't give the Oki anymore when you're not in heat, right? So we have to remember that and be happy about that and be grateful for that, I think. Now, the thing in Tekken 7 was that sometimes, instead of going for the guaranteed 6 damage after a slide, you would opt for you may opt for something that is not guaranteed but could net you more damage. So in other words, you would sacrifice guaranteed damage, and hopefully in the return you would get some higher potential damage. What I mean by this is you could do stand up again into slide, into another slide, so you would be in a better position. If you chose not to do the get up free, you would be in a better position to get up into crouch and do another slide and then reset the situation like that. Something like this. Now the wake up situation for Law looks a little bit different in this game because he gets up automatically like this. But that's how you would do it in Tekken 7. Or if you were really cheeky, you would do a roll back like this and do a low launcher here. Now you can't, this is not a launcher in Tekken 8 anymore, of course. But this was possible in Tekken 7 as well. Something like that. A little back turn tech there. But this is basically how you can treat the slides in this game as well. you can sacrifice the guaranteed damage of the nunchuck, and then go into another slide mix-up, something like this. This is what I've been doing, and then that allows you to get your mids, make your opponent duck. Now, something you didn't have in Tekken 7 is up forward 3+4. This move right here. All you had was while standing 2, while standing 4. This is while standing 1, while standing 4, while standing 2, which is way more risky, right? While standing 3 is a safe on block mid heat engager that gives you a launch when you are in heat, right? So you really want to land this move right here. And slide is just a means to an end. Slide is not something that is meant to be something that you could just loop over mindlessly and win by doing slide, nunchuck, slide, nunchuck, slide, nunchuck. Like, what kind of character would Law be if all you had to do was slide, nunchuck, right? There's no nuance to that. That was not his game plan. It was never how he was supposed to be. Having a strong slide is nice, of course, having good Oki after slide, but you don't get to have both, like, good slide with guaranteed damage and incredibly busted Oki, in my opinion. So in that way, I think it's a fair change, and it wasn't supposed to be like this. But you still get to, except not, of course, not guaranteed damage, but you still get to link your slides like this, like you did in Tekken 7. So this will become way more of a Tekken 7 way to slide now, and you're gonna have to mix your people up like this. Now you can choose to take the guaranteed damage. Maybe if you're at a wall here, you can still get decent Oki, right? If you're in heat, you may choose to take the old Oki, if you prefer that. But what I've been doing, and especially if you watched my stream yesterday, you've seen that I had a lot of success with this as well, right? I do slide into, get up into crouch, into slide, get up into crouch, into slide, and then at some point I will expect that they're gonna duck, and that's when I can hit my mids, right? Whether it be up forward 3, while standing 4 into DSS pressure, or while standing 1 at the wall, something like that. So that's how I've been using slides, and I'm gonna show you how to do this real quick. So basically, all you're gonna have to do, in case you're not familiar with this from Tekken 7, is that after a slide, when he gets up like this, immediately after the slides connects right here, you're just gonna hold either down back. So when I'm on player 2 side, this is gonna be down back, or down forward. I'm gonna show my input history real quick here. So he will recover like this. If you hold down back from player 2, he will recover in crouch like this. If you do down forward, whatever you may choose here. I usually go down back like this, and then into another slide. Because when you're in the crouch already, that's like half of the crouch dash input, right? Just note that when you do down back from this side, you are further away, so your while standing 4 may whiff from this distance right here. So in that scenario, although it's inconsistent, not always, I think it has to do with timing, right? So in this instance, it would be better to do down forward, I guess, like this. So practice this right here. Practice doing a slide, getting up into crouch, and then into a mid, and into crouch, and then into another slide. This is your new slide mix-ups right here. And your opponent really has no choice but to take this mix-up unless they stay on the ground. And you know what it means when they stay on the ground. Let's do... When they stay on the ground, you just flip them over again, right? So yeah, that's how I've been using the new slide, or the new the new slide. What would you call it? Mix-ups, and that's how I would suggest you use it in this patch 105. Now, I just wanted to add a bit of an explanation as to why linking slides is so viable now, why it's so good to do in this game. It's because you will have noticed as a Law player probably that if you want the guaranteed nunchuck after a slide, the timing is pretty tight here. As you can see, I did it pretty fast, but he blocked it anyway, because my timing was a little bit off. There I got it, the guaranteed hit. So a lot of people know this by now. You got away with this a lot as a law player earlier in this game's lifespan, but most people know nowadays that the best way to avoid this situation is that if you get hit by law slide, most people would press up to quick stand. This is the fastest way to get up and block the nunchuck. So if the law player is just a tiny bit off on his timing, you will block it, he'll be minus 13, and you can take your punish, right? So that's why a lot of people, as I said, they will quick stand after getting hit by a slide. Now, if you do a slide into another slide here, if they quick stand, it's not impossible for them to block it again, but the easiest way to do this is to get up by holding down back like this, getting up into a crouch like this. It is the easiest way. If you're really fast with the slides here, the best way for them to get up and block the slide is to get up by, again, holding down back like this, recovering in crouch on standing here, instead of pressing up to quick stand. So again, most people, they quick stand, leaving them to get hit by the slide here anyway. Now, you might get away, let me see here. You will probably get away with this the first time they stand up here. Maybe even the second time, but at the third time, this is when I suggest you start doing mid mix-ups and stuff. Because eventually, of course, they're gonna catch on and then gonna try and do down back. But once they start doing down back again, you can always go for the guaranteed nunchuck, if you will, and you'll have a easier time hitting the guaranteed nunchuck. Your timing has to be less reliable if they just do wake up and down back instead of doing quick stand, as they usually would do. So again, that is actually why that these new way of sliding works so well and why it's so viable, basically. Now, I just want to add here at the end of the video, and the reason I do this is because a lot of people asked me the same question on live stream yesterday. What are my thoughts on this nerfs right here on law in this patch? And my thoughts are that they are completely fair. They are really good changes, and I'm very positive about them. I thought they were gonna hit him harder. I thought they were gonna hit his damage as well, but they haven't touched his damage, so I'm quite happy about that. I think I was expecting them to nerf him, so the fact that he didn't get nerfed that bad, I think is a positive thing. And I think they needed to change the slide as well. And it should be said they tweaked the Oki on Shaheen's slide as well, so it's not just law. And I think that truthfully, he only got one nerf, and it was the 1+2 nerf. They did increase the hurt box on his slide, but that was only to make it more consistent for the opponent to punish his slide. And I think that's completely fair. I don't see that as a nerf. That's just balancing, like adjusting unintended behavior, right? Because your follow-ups are not supposed to whiff once you block a slide. In my opinion, if you block my slide, you deserve to get an easy punish on it. It shouldn't have to be like character specific, whether you can do a proper combo or pickup on the slide once you block it, right? So fixing the slide hurt box on block, making it easier to punish, totally acceptable in my opinion. Now, the other thing is the heat smash on whiff. They made it easier to punish this right here. They reduced the what's it called? The pushback on nunchuck and heat as well. We'll talk about that in a second. They nerfed the tracking on it, and I think that's also not a. I mean, of course it is a nerf if you want to look at it on black and white, right? But I don't think really it's a character-specific nerf, because it is something that they have started addressing on multiple characters. Like, there was a lot of characters who had problems with their heat smashes. Dragonov is a good example. Devil Jin is a good example where it's not that bad anymore. But previously, if you could even step, once they made the heat smashes steppable, the problem became that even if you stepped the heat smash, it was pretty much impossible to punish them, because if you stepped Dragonov's heat smash, he would just fly halfway across the screen and you'd have to run after him to even have a chance at getting him punished. And that's not how the game is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be near impossible to punish heat smash once you step it, or once they whiff it. You should be rewarded for stepping a heat smash, and with an easy punish, right? And that's why I think that the reason they made it easier to punish for Dragonov and Deviljin and now Law and other characters as well. That's completely fine. It's not a Law-specific nerf, so it's supposed to be like that. I don't have any issues with that whatsoever. That's also completely fair. So that basically leaves us with the 1+2 nerf, which is basically, let me see. I talked about this a little bit already, but now I actually had time to play with all of this stuff, right? Yesterday. Okay, we'll do this. This is something I said on stream yesterday as well. So they nerfed the pushback in heat. Now it's still safe in heat, of course, but all this means is that if your opponent blocks it at like point blank range, even though you're at +8, you necessarily lose your turn. When in previous patches, if it would push you to tip range, it would push them to tip range, meaning that at this range you don't necessarily lose your turn even though you're -8, because very few characters can get in on you and punish like appropriately after a pushback like this, right? So it means that now if they block it at point blank range, they will have an easier time. They can immediately apply a grab mix-up or a low mid mix-up or something like that, right? Although it is still rather safe at tip range. Again, so what it means basically is you cannot play the brain rot Law anymore. You have to use your brain a little bit, and I think that's a good thing. That you cannot just mindlessly throw this out at point blank range. You can still use it very effectively as a normal hit launcher at range, making it safe if you can use your spacing, right? Your fundamentals. With good fundamentals, you can make this rather safe, as it once was, right? So it just takes more skill to use. You have to be more careful with it. You cannot be brainless, like brain rot Law, throwing this out all the time, right? You have to space it correctly now. And I think that's good for player expression and good for the player skill expression as well. So that's basically my thoughts on this patch. I think it's fair. I think they're good changes. I think we will become better Law players because of it. I think that we don't need to do slide, nunchuck, slide, nunchuck, slide, nunchuck to win. That was never Law's identity. Slide is not supposed to be something that you just use as a win. Of course, it's nice. You can use it as you should land it a lot and use it as a poking tool as well. Get switch position at the wall is good for that, right? If round enders, it's really good for that. Faking it out, but basically the most important thing about slide, you have to remember, it's not landing the slide. It's not landing the slide itself. Slide is the reason you're able to hit your important mids, right? Like up forward 3. Like while standing 4 into DSS pressure, right? Like while standing 1-2 at the wall, or while standing 2 even if you want to be more risky about it, right? Your opponent needs a reason to duck and block low. If all you have is like low pokes that barely do any damage and are not worth trying to block or low parry, nobody is gonna try and duck or low parry you, and you're gonna have a really hard time opening up people. And because they're just gonna hold back and win automatically, because eventually you're gonna throw a punishable mid because you're getting desperate. You have nothing else to, like, you need to do big damage. You cannot win by only doing down back 3 or down 4 3 or something. And nobody really wants to respect those moves. So that's what the slide is for. The slide is to make people respect you and to duck and it's for mind games basically. Again, as I said it already, it is what allows you to land your important mids. That is what slide is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a brain rot move that you can just spam over and over again. Although you do have that option still. You just have to be more creative about it. It's more risky. It's less guaranteed. It takes more skill expression, player expression. And that's a good thing at the end of the day, in my book at least. So those are my thoughts on Law's balancing in patch 105. I hope that you found it useful and informative. I hope you agree. You may not agree. That's totally fine. We can stand at different points at different ends of the spectrum. It's we don't want that polarization, right? I respect your opinion, even though if it's different from mine. I'm not gonna doom and gloom about it. At least this is what I think. And yeah. So I hope you liked the video. I hope I'll see you soon again. Have a good one. Until next time. See ya. Bye.